Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about Addiction Tokyo. And this is a brand, a Japanese brand that has recently come to the United States. So you can now purchase it in the United States. If you are not in the US and you're not in Japan, you don't have access to Addiction Tokyo, you could always consider ordering from a place like Fude Japan, which is where I used to order items from. So today we're going to focus on items that are more in the permanent collection. So we're going to be looking at a lot of the eyeshadow singles and the blushes. I have a few lipsticks and so forth, but we're doing a swatch party. And I do have videos featuring Addiction Tokyo that I will leave linked down below with the full limited edition collections and all of the new, actually I'm wearing one of the new lip tints. So I have videos featuring all of the shades with lip swatches and so forth of the lip tints, the serum lip tints, and so forth. So I will leave those linked down below. We're not going to cover those again here today. We're going to focus on swatches of other items. So let's go ahead and we're going to start off with some things I just have a few of, such as some lipsticks, mascara, and so forth. So we're going to start off with the Lipstick Extreme Shine, and I only have a few of these. So you can see we do have a glossy black magnetic packaging, but the front here is actually more of a matte black surface with Addiction Tokyo. The rest of it is glossy. And we do have magnetic closure. So some of the items that we're swatching here today are new and I haven't actually worn yet some of the shades. I've tested all of the formulas, so I'll give you my thoughts on those formulas as well. So we're going to start off with this one here, which is kind of this light nude lip shade. This is called Endlessly and it's number 16. Now these Extreme Shines are going to be a thin, glossy texture. They're very thin and lightweight on the lips, but you definitely have a lot of shine here and they are fairly pigmented. This is like pure pigment in a shiny lipstick formula. So you can see this is a light nude peach and it's really going to give more of a light soft look on the lips. So it's kind of that great everyday nude. If it's not as light as concealer lips, but it's definitely not as deep as a My Lips But Better. So it's going to be a light peachy blush shade. And then we have number 2, Wise with Age, which is going to be more of a warm pink shade. So you can see it's a warm pink, not really any coral in there, but almost like there's a hint of coral. So that's going to be a warm pink. And then we have 15, Taste of Life, which I think is a really cool color. So you can definitely dab a little bit of this on and sheer it out for a lighter look. But, otherwise they're pretty pigmented. So you can see this is actually like a deep grayish brown. We do have a little bit of gray in here, but, it definitely has some brown and even a touch of eggplant. So really awesome shade, really unique. And the last one I have here is 13 Borrowed Loves, which is a bright fuchsia. And look at that. Super bright, super fun. It is a bright pink and it's a little cool, but not as cool as we typically see with these bright fuchsia shades. So it's neutral leaning cool instead of full out cool. So overall, I have to say I do really like these. I think these are a nice formula, but you're definitely looking at this formula for shades that you want a lot of pigmentation from. They're going to be your wow shades. They're very comfortable on the lips and they last the average lipstick time, but because they are so pigmented, you can be left with a stain for quite a few hours afterwards. Another lip product that I have, this is the Lip Oil Plumper. This one is new. It's new to me. It's number 4, You'll Be. So I just picked this up in their most recent sale, but I have used this formula in some of the limited edition shades before. And it is a nice, oil gloss. And it's not really sticky. There's a little stickiness to it, but it's not a super sticky gloss. It definitely is kind of in between more of a lip oil and a gloss though. So this will give you just a sheer little tint of color. And you can see that this one in particular has some shimmer. So it's a great lip topper. And here, I'll just go ahead and put this on top of this so you can see the shimmer. Let me bring you in so you can see it. So you can see a little bit of shimmer, and if I add more, Nice and comfortable on the lips. Now another lip product, again, new shade to me. This is the Matte Lip Liquid. I've used these in some of their limited edition shades. This one here is going to be number 4, Fuchsia Garnet. All right, you can see we have a doe foot applicator, and this is going to be a bright fuchsia pink. And you can see it's pretty similar to the Lipstick Extreme Shine shade. This one has a little bit more red in it, and it's, yeah, a little bit more red, a little more neutral. There's a little bit more purple in the Extreme Shine Fuchsia. These are a great liquid matte lipstick. They will dry to a powder finish on your lips, and they set, they stay put, they last a long time. They're really comfortable. So I think this is a great lip product. All right, now this product is the Cheek Tint. So this one is number 5, Fill You Up. And you can see there's a label here that tells you that this is a top. You need to keep it upright. You can hear it. It's very watery and thin. So you don't want this leaking anywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and put this here on my hand. You can see it is going to be a light, watery liquid. Think of something like Daniel Sandler watercolor blushes, and it just blends out pretty seamlessly. I have to say, I really like this color. It's thin, so it really sinks into your skin. It's great for those hot, humid summer days when you want a little bit of color, but you don't want to feel anything on your skin. It really sinks in. I don't even feel like there's absolutely no texture. It just feels like the rest of my hand, can't tell where it is at all. And this shade here is kind of like this, purpley mauve shade there. I think it's really pretty. This is one that if you want to build it up and put a skin tint on top, you could do that, but it's so light and sheer when you blend this out that you can definitely put this on top. I like to put a little swatch on my hand and then dip a brush in and lightly buff that into the skin. So I typically use the mini base from Sonia G for that. And just to show you that truly stays put, you can see my finger. I actually just cleaned this with micellar water, and you can see how much pigmentation is still there. That cheek stain really will last all day. And then before we move on to the powder shadows and so forth, just a couple other, items I just have a few of. We have the, these are the liquid ultra sparkle eyeshadows, and I have a few of these in the limited edition shades as well, which they're part of various collections that I'll have linked down below, but these are 2 of the permanent ones. This one here is 002 Cause Freedom, and we'll put them down here. And these are just a nice sparkly eyeshadow. You can wear them on their own. You can use them as a topper. And I typically will mix these more as a topper on top of something else. This one here is a favorite. This is called number 5, Awful Good Girl. And you can see it is going to be a nice olive with your gold hint to it. Really pretty shade. So this is the one I use. I use this one a lot, actually. This is the one I use the most. Now I want to mention one of the highlighter balms. This is called the Glow Stick, and this one is number 1P or Pearl, Above the Moon, and this is probably my favorite highlighter stick from any brand right now. You can see this is a really nice champagne shade, ivory champagne. We have a bit of a sheen here. It's a bit more of a metallic sheen, very finely milled. If you pat this on, you don't feel any texture. This is not a balmy balm. It is going to be drier to the touch, and it lasts all day. And I think it just gives a really beautiful hint of shine. There are different shades. This is the only one I have, but I love this color. All right, and this one here is the liquid eyeliner. So this is the color liquid eyeliner in number 5, Pine Green. And you can see we have a thin applicator here. Let's go ahead, we'll put it right here actually. We'll do a wide swatch, and then so you can see how fine you can get. And this is gonna be a foam tip applicator. And I have to say, it's a really nice liquid eyeliner. The applicator here gets to a nice fine point. It's really easy to use. Got a good length here to go across the lid. So I think this is a really nice eyeliner. I don't wear liquid eyeliners a ton, but if I did, this is definitely one that I would collect in different colors. And then I also want to mention this mascara. This is the Mascara Color Nuance Waterproof. And I have shade number 10, Pine Tree. And you can see our wand here is going to be thin. This is one that is good more for like natural lengthening. And you can see that the green here is, it's a little bit more teal than the eyeliner. This is what I have on my lashes now. And I wanted to mention this because I do think that this is actually a good alternative to the Hermes eyeliners. You can see that our wands for the two, you know, they're both going to be similar, you know, a vaguely similar shape. They're not the same, of course, but we do have, you know, a similar shape. They're going to both give you a little bit more lengthening, and this comes in a lot of different colors like the Hermes does. So I think it's a really good alternative. I really like this, and I wear this green one all the time. It just gives like a tint of the green, and I think it's a really nice mascara. So this is one that I will repurchase in different shades as well. So those are kind of the items I just have a few of. I have to say I do recommend all of these formulas. I think, you know, some of their best sellers are definitely the Sparkle liquid eyeshadows. I think they're so fun to use, so easy to use. They'll stay put. You don't get sparkle over your face then. And I have to say though, the lip products I think are really nice. I love the matte liquid lip. The glosses are really fun. I like the extreme shines, but they are very pigmented, so keep that in mind. And then this cheek tint is just, it's so fun and easy to use. It's not a go-to for me during most of the year, but it's definitely something I like to reach for during the summer, and it truly stays put. And then we have the eyeliner and the waterproof mascara. I think they are both fantastic. I love the fact that they have so many different shades that you can choose and play with. So I'm going to remove these swatches, and then we're going to go ahead and take a look at the blushes and the Nuancers, which are your highlights, your powder highlights. Actually, before we move on, I just want to take a look at the powders. So they do come in packaging like this. You purchase the refill separately from the case. So I do have a case. I haven't put them in there. I actually don't mind keeping it in this packaging. So this one here is going to be number 1, Natural Beige, and this is the Silky Blur setting powder. So I did just clean off the swatches on my hand with an oil-based remover. So we're going to swatch the powders here so you can see how they look. And this is going to be a nice, it's translucent, but it has a little bit of warmth to it. So those who are super fair and cool, this one might actually show up a little bit, but for most people, this is just going to be a translucent shade. But you can see we do get a little blur. I think the Addiction Tokyo powders, to me, they are powders for people who don't like powders because they give you the benefits of a powder, but they actually don't feel like powder on the skin. They're so thin and lightweight. Then the other one that we have is going to be Translucent Glow. I have 2 shades of this. This is the Skin Reflect setting powder. So these just come out like this. This is what they look like, and you can attach them into the case. And so this one here, your Skin Reflect setting powder, this one has a little bit more glow to it. And so you can see that this shade here has a little bit of peach to it, but it's such a thin, sheer formula. This one is thinner than the setting powder we first looked at, the blurring one. And see, we get a blur here, very thin, very sheer powder, but this glow powder here, this one is even thinner. So, you know, this is the powder, like if you have very dry skin and you really want a powder, or you just don't like the look of powder on your skin, I would definitely recommend the Skin Reflect setting powders. This one here is number 2, Translucent Pink. Put this one right down here. Actually, we'll put it here along the side as well so you can kind of see them together. But this is going to be best for your cooler skin tones. It really just blends in. These are so translucent. You get a little bit of blur, a little bit of glow, but by glow, that's not like shimmer or shine or anything like that. It's just, it's more like, I guess, more of a satin finish on your skin. So you're getting a little light reflection with the powder without any like particles, no glittery particles or anything like that, you know, reflecting the light. So I think these are awesome powders. You could even dust them on very softly as a finishing powder. You know, if you've got blush that's a little bit too heavy, go ahead and take this powder and just kind of buff it on top. You'll dull it a little bit, get a little bit of a sheen. I think these are fantastic. So I definitely wanted to recommend these powders. I have to say I really like all three of them, but my favorite is the pink in the glow. So next we're going to take a look at the cheek shades, and we're going to start off with the highlighters. So these are called the Blush Nuancers, and you can see this is the packaging they come with. The eyeshadow singles are half of that, and you can purchase your own palettes. It's actually, you know, just like Surat, you can purchase your own palettes to put these in, and the process is actually going to be pretty similar. So these are refillable. This was a limited edition case that I purchased, but the normal packaging is just your classic black. We have a mirror there. It's the same kind of packaging here. And typically you just use like a dot of glue and you put these in. So when I have done it, you know, you have the circle here to remove that. You can push that through, and there's actually a little bit of glue already there. All right, so if you want to put this in the packaging, you just put something, this is a paper clip. You just put this in, you've got some glue on the back. So these are not magnetic, but I like to keep it in here. I like actually seeing through it, so I haven't done that too much. But then you would just, you can use that same glue, attach it in here, pop it out. If that glue dries up, I just use hot glue from a hot glue gun. So we're going to take a look at the Nuancers, and this one here is number 001N. The N stands for Nuancer, which tells you it's a highlighter. This is the shade Beyond Light, and this is the one that I'm actually wearing right now, and I think it is a beautiful ivory highlight. Look at that. It's thin, silky, yet still a little bit of a gel texture in the formula. So really comfortable. Now, before we go on too far, I do want to just compare this shade to the Above the Moon, so you can see the difference between these. You can see shade-wise, Above the Moon is just a little bit warmer, but not much. They're almost the same. And the Above the Moon in here is just a little bit more metallic because of the formula. So that's kind of like your powder version of Above the Moon. The other one, next one I have is Color Me Sky, which is number 3N. You can see the shimmer in here, and this, again, this is a new one to me. And you can see this is going to be a shimmery, soft peach. Really, really pretty. Now, the first one I ever bought, this is one of my favorites. This is number 5N, Aurora Veil. Look at this beautiful lilac shade. This one actually has a bit more of a gel texture than the other two. It feels a little bit creamier. You can see it's going to be a soft lilac with a little bit of blue reflect here. And this is such a great shade, especially with all the purple everywhere right now. I think this really goes well. Then we have number 6N, Stellar Dust. And this, you can see I've worn this quite a bit. This is a really cool, kind of like a mauve with multicolor shimmer in there. I think on deeper skin tones, this would be a really awesome kind of nude highlighter. But for me, it's one that I will like usually mix more as like a blush lighter with another blush shade. And so these are the ones that I have. We have 1, 3, 5, and 6. And these are all N for Nuancer. Next, I have 3 of the matte blush shades as well. And this one here is 005M, which is Nude Romance. And I haven't tried this one yet, but here it is. This is going to be a nice matte peach shade. So again, this one is Nude Romance. Then the one that I have on right now is 007M Rose Latte. So this is the blush I'm wearing today. And this is kind of more of your nude rose. So you can see you've got a little bit of warmth in here, but this is going to be like a great daily blush shade. I really like it. And you know, it's kind of like your dusty rose. Then another one that I wear a ton is 009M Rose Wish. So this is one of the first ones I bought. And this is going to be your soft pink. So you can see these are, you know, if you're familiar with Suku, the formula on the Addiction Tokyo blushes is more similar to their Melting Color blushes that were discontinued last year. They're not quite the same. It's not the same formula, but if I had to make a comparison, that would be the most similar texturally. So we have sort of this like gel cream powder kind of texture to it. So it's smooth, it's silky, it's buildable, but we have kind of that creamy texture still that sort of melts into the skin. So this is one of my absolute favorite blush formulas. Now you'll notice I have quite a few more of the pearl finish, which is my favorite. So let's move on to the pearl finish. But first, one more time, we've got 5, 7, and 9, and these are all M for matte. So our pearl finish, you know, we've got some shimmer in these. Some of them are more satin, so some have more shimmer than others. This one here is number 3, and it's gonna have a P for pearl. This is Foggy Rose. This is one that I wear this one a lot for some reason in the winter. This is when I tend to wear it, but it's your deeper tea rose shade, and it's a pretty neutral rose. I think it's a really pretty shade. This one in particular, it has a little bit of shimmer, but not that much. It's really more of a satin finish. You can actually see up close, you don't really see glitter particles in it. So that's something to know. It's really more of a satin blush. This one here, you can see I haven't tried this yet. This is 004P Coral Kiss, and you can see shimmer right off the bat on here. So let's see oh, I love this. This is going to be a pinky coral shade. Very soft, little shimmery. So you definitely have some shimmer in this one. Even when I wipe it off, you know, you still see there's a little gold reflect from the shimmer, and it seems to go all the way through the formula. 6P, So Emotional. This one is another really beautiful pink shade. This is going to be kind of a brighter pink. This one is going to be more satin in finish. And you know, this one is a little on the cooler side, but it's still pretty close to neutral. Whereas this one here, which is my favorite, is number 7P Skyflower. And this one is definitely cooler. We have a little bit of a lilac hue to this pink. Look at that. And this one does have a little bit of shimmer to it. There's a little bit of silver shimmer in here. But it's just such a beautiful, beautiful shade. And again, none of these are super shimmery, not like what we might see with other like shimmery blushes. They're, you know, even those with more shimmer are still not going to be as super intense in that department. And then we have number 8P Fuchsia Berry, and I haven't tried this one yet. This one I just ordered. And you can see this is going to be a brighter pink. Wow. Look at that. Really beautiful, cool tone pink here. And then I also picked up this nude shade here. This is Emotive Nude, number 11P. And it looks like there's a little bit of gold shimmer in here. The fuchsia, by the way, was more satin. This one, though, has a little bit of gold shimmer. You can see the way the light hits it. And this is going to be your warm nude, kind of like a soft tan brown. So one more time, we have 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 11P. Really beautiful. Again, my favorite here is going to be number 7, Skyflower, which is right here. Next, we're moving on to the eyeshadows. So you can see I have quite a few of these. So we're gonna go through them numerically by finish. So we're gonna start off with this. This is 004T Night Groove, and it is a multi-tint. So this can be used on the eyes, the face, the lips, and it's going to be a creamy glossy formula. You can see touching it, it's definitely smooth, but it is going to be a little bit more of a tacky cream texture, so it will stay put. And this shade here is going to be kind of a blue purple, so it gives you a bit of that glossy look. I've only worn this one on the eyes, and I typically will put this on as a base, and then I'll put powder on top of this. And I think it's a really nice cream formula. However, keep in mind, this is one that will crease. So if you're using just these, then you're gonna need to pat it out periodically to, you know, reduce the look of creasing if that's something you don't want. Texturally, there's a little tackiness to this. You can see we definitely have a sheen to it. I really like this shade paired with some of the others. So for me, because I don't like patting out creases, I'll typically put this on as a base and then use a powder shadow on top to sort of set it in place. So that is, again, a little bit more of a tacky finish, which really works well to kind of set there. If you want to use this on the lips or the cheeks, when you shear this out, you have a little bit of tackiness, but not a ton. We also have a cream formula, and this is 11C Pearl River. So this cream formula is going to be a little different because it is silkier. This is more of your traditional silky cream texture. This is a really beautiful champagne shade. Again, this will also crease, but these are meant to be used on the eyes, and you can use them on top of powder, underneath powder, or just on their own. So sometimes I'll just dab this on the lid for a little extra sheen. That's why I like this shade for. But other times, you know, I'll buff this all over the lid first and then add a powder shadow. But I think these creams, they're really nice. Again, on their own though, they will you know, crease. This one here is 16C Ever Mine, and this is going to be a soft lavender shade. So we have a little, it's a very soft, light blue lavender. I really like both of these, but you know, the fact that they crease means that I typically don't wear these on their own. I do like to pair them with other things. The rest of the ones I have are all powder formulas. So let's move on to those. We're going to take a look at some mattes. So this is the Thousand Feathers. This is 002M. And I actually have this also in the Addiction Tokyo Anniversary palette, if you were lucky enough to get that. That sold out so fast. I'm so glad I ordered it when I did. But this is just a really great neutral brown. And I had actually just ordered this right before the palette launch, so I didn't realize it was also in there. But I've been using this shade a ton. Every time I use the palette, I use this as kind of my base brown. So this is a nice neutral brown. There's a little touch of red in it, so just something to note. And then I'm so mad because I was sorting all of these numerically right before I turned the camera on, and I dropped like 5 or 6 of these. So some of my shadows have broken because I dropped them on top of this like glass tray. So this one is one of them. This is 007M. So yeah, they didn't come broken, but yeah, unfortunately I dropped it on something hard and they broke. But not badly. You can see it was just like a little bit around the edges. So this is 007M Cinnamon, which is going to be a deeper brown. Cinnamon, I think, is a pretty accurate description. If you've ever, you know, ground up a cinnamon stick, this is kind of what it looks like. If you're looking at cinnamon in a jar can often be a little bit lighter and more red. This is a little bit more neutral brown. I think it's a really great shade, nice deep shade. Now, these matte textures, they are going to be a silky dry matte. You don't feel any like gel or cream or anything in there. This one was actually limited edition, 104M Feel Elated. And this is going to be a soft peachy shade. This was part of the spring collection, I believe. So I do have a video featuring these. I have a couple of the limited edition shades that I just included here. So those are my mattes. Those are the 3 mattes I have. So again, we have 002M, which is your 1000 Feathers, which I use all the time, 007M Cinnamon, and this is 104M Feel Elated. Oh, I didn't realize I have one more matte here. This is 105M Be Cheerful. This was also part of the spring collection here, and this is kind of your tangerine pumpkin. So it's a yellow based orange, a little soft in color. And again, that one was limited edition though. So you can still find some of these pieces though available on the website. Now, as I mentioned before with the blushes, the eyeshadows are half the size of a blush. So if you're buying a palette, the palette sizes I have, you've got 2 different palette sizes. You can either do something like 4 eyeshadows and make a quad, or 2 blushes, or you have room for 6 eyeshadows or 3 blush highlighters. You can do a combination as well. Next, we're moving on to the sparkle finish. And this one here is 003 SP for Sparkle Midnight Wish. And these are all obviously going to be sparkly. And some of these are going to be more sheer, like topper style, and others are more pigmented. This one is great on its own, or you can pat this on as a topper. We kind of have a little bit of a silvery taupe base with silver shimmer to it. I think this is a really beautiful shade. Now, Mariage, this is one that broke when I dropped it. It is going to be a little bit more delicate in the sparkle formula. This is also one that is in the Addiction Tokyo anniversary palette. So half the shades there were new and half were repeats. So this one is 004 SP. So you can see this one here is more of your Ivory Champagne sparkle shade. You can wear it on its own. You can use it as a topper. I used it as a topper today, and I think it's a really beautiful shade. I believe this is their #1 seller in Japan as well. So just something to note there. Then we also have 005 SP Moon River. And this one here, you can see when you look at this, you have a little bit more of that color shift here. So I'm going to put this one here on the side. Look at that. You have kind of that blue, red, that reddish brown color shift with this. So this one I love to use as a topper to just give a little nuance to whatever eye look. I just think this is a really awesome shade. Now my favorite though is #6 SP Butterfly Effect. And this is the one I use the most. And you can see this is going to be kind of your yellow, green, gold with, you get a little reflect to a bit of a nude sheen to it as well. So I love adding this as a topper to different shadows all the time. So I use this one quite a bit. It's relatively new. I bought this in the spring, and you can already see, considering my collection, how much of an indent I have in this, which shows you, I really use this one a lot. It's such an amazing color. So one more time for our sparkle shades here, we have 3 sparkle, 4, and then we have 5 and 6. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Next, we have the Prism formula. So these are going to end in PR. This is 001 PR Happy Tears. Now you can use these as a topper. These have a thinner texture than the sparkle formula. They have more of a translucent base. They also feel a little bit more gel-like in formula. And this one here is going to be a sheer ivory with gold and a little bit of multi-chromatic shimmer. So the Prism formula in general is meant to be a little bit more finely milled than the sparkle. So you have thinner particles for the shimmer, and you have more of an iridescent multi-chromatic effect. This is 002 PR Dance in the Air. And you can see that this is a bit more of a sheer version of the 05P from, or 05 SP, the Moon River. Let me put that with that so you can see those together. But you can see this has some similarities with that when you have more of that reddish nude flip to it, but it's much more sheer, and the sparkle isn't quite as concentrated. So for me, I typically use the Prism formula more as a topper. You can definitely wear it on its own. And sometimes I'll do that if I just want a little shimmer with and focusing more on eyeliner. This is 101 PR Hour of Magic, which is technically limited edition, but they have brought this back, I believe twice already. And you can see this is going to be more of your violet purple shimmer shade. And again, these are best, in my opinion, as a topper. So one more time, we have 1, 2, and 101 PR for Prism. I'm going to remove these, and then we're moving on to the pearl finish, which is my favorite. All right, so this one here is 004P Private Beach. These are going to have very finely milled shimmer. You have a satin finish. You can see this one is going to be a bit more of a warm nude shade there. I really love this one. It's a neutral leaning warm, and you have some silver shimmer in there. This is one that I wear a lot, and I just think it's a really great option. 08P Boy Toy. This one here is going to have more of that olive hue to it. So we have a deeper brown mixed with a little olive and gold in there. And now texturally, these feel like they're more of a gel powder kind of texture. Very, easy to put on, creamy. They kind of stay put. They're comfortable. The shimmer is very, very finely milled. It doesn't feel gritty at all. This is 009P Nostalgia. And you can see this is going to be more of your soft mauve with a little bit of brown in there. So you have more of a nude mauve kind of shade, but you definitely have hints of that mauve in there. Then my favorite is number 10P Flashback. And anytime anyone asks me what I recommend from Addiction Tokyo, this always makes a list along with the Skyflower blush. These are my favorites. This is one of my favorite taupes. So you can see it's a really beautiful taupe. We've got a little gray in there, definitely some brown, and I just think it's a really beautiful shade. So this is going to be neutral leaning cool. It's a little bit more of a grayish taupe. And then we have 13P Material Girl, and I haven't tried this one yet. This is going to be a soft pink, like a ballet pink, but it's a little cooler than like a ballet slipper, which is a little peachier. 15P Shell Garden. This is a really nice shade. I mix this in a lot of times, or I'll use this for inner corner. It's a very, very light white lavender hue. So very, very pale lavender. And you can even use this as a topper, but I typically use it to blend in with some other shades. We have 16P Midnight Drive. And this is a really pretty mint green. And you can see it's kind of like it's like a really nice, a little less blue than a true sage green, but kind of between sage and like seafoam green. I love it. Then we have 17P Cafe Mambo. We're going to switch to my other arm here. I'm not as good at swatching on this arm, so sorry about that, but I don't want to remove any of the pearl finishes yet. You can see that this one here is kind of a deep grayish green. So you've got a little green in there, but it is going to have kind of gray. Think like army green, but a little bit more gray than that. And then this is 18P Jade Green. And this is new to me, but this is going to be more of a teal green. Think of like a blue spruce mixed with some evergreen. So these in general, Addiction Tokyo or Japanese makeup in general, typically go for very soft washes of color. Addiction Tokyo kind of breaks that mold because they have so many different shades to play around with, and they have brighter colors that can really be buildable. And this is 27P Cafe Solaire. And you can see this is a really great brown. But you can see that this brown, it has a little red in it, but it's going to be a cooler brown, almost cocoa. And then we have 29P Dropout, which is this one here. And I haven't tried this one yet. You can see that's a little bit lighter and a little more neutral than Cafe Solaire. We have 33p Teas. Actually, this is the one that I used on my eyes. And this one here is the one I have on my eyes under Mariage right now. So it's very, light nude brown with a touch of mauve in there. And the shimmer in here actually has a little bit of a blue glint to it. We have some blue shimmer. Then we have 34p Sand Letters. This came out with the spring collection, and they had released some limited edition shades as well as some new permanent shades. This is one of the permanent ones, and it is a shimmery golden peach. Now you can see, just like the pearl finish blushes, some of the shades here are more shimmery than others. Aurora Dawn, this is 35p. This is also came out in that spring collection, and I love this. It is a very soft, iridescently blue lilac shade. Really beautiful there. And then I also have 111p, which came out in the same collection, but this one is limited edition, and this is going to be more of your soft mint. Look at that. Absolutely love it. So let's take a look at these one more time. All right, so on this arm, again, these all in P for pearl. We have 4, 8, 9, 10, 13, 15, 16. Now on this arm here, we have 17, 18, 27, 29, 33, 34, 35, and 111p. Really, I have to say, I absolutely love the formula on these. I love the pearl finish in particular is my favorite. They are, just a soft velvety gel powder kind of formula to them. They go on smoothly. You can build up the colors, or you can have them very sheer and light. I love the fact that they offer so many different finishes, and they're clearly identified. I love that. So you don't have to guess. It makes it a little easier to order. Addiction Tokyo is known for having 99 plus eyeshadows. So I don't have anywhere near that yet in my collection, but I definitely think these are totally worth looking for. Again, you can create your own palettes, or you can just keep them as they come in the clear lucite packaging. And I can't speak highly enough about this brand. I love this brand. I'm so happy they came to the US. And yeah, I hope all of these swatches have been helpful as you're doing your shopping. And yeah, let me know if you've tried anything or if you're planning on trying anything from Addiction Tokyo. And I will leave the additional videos featuring the lip tints and the lip serum tints and so forth, and some of the limited edition collections down below in the description box, so they are easy to find. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.